Assalamu alaikum and good morning to all my students of class 8. My name is Miss Noreen and I will teach science online. As you know, students, we all are suffering severe condition of COVID-19 virus, so kindly please stay home and save your lives. First of all, I welcome to Metropolitan Foundation School. In this lecture, we discuss unit number 1 of class 8 science, that is classification of plants and animals. We already discussed previous lecture in this unit. Today I will discuss another topic of this unit, that is classification of plants. Before starting classification of plant, we must know what are plants. According to scientists, plants are those organisms that have cell wall and pigment, that is chloroplast. ऐसे organisms जिनकी सेल के अराउंड सेल वॉल मौजूद हो एंड उनके अंदर क्लोरोफिल पिगमेंट मौजूद हो, such organism is called such organisms are called plants. What are plants? Plant is defined as, according to scientists, plants are those organisms that have cell wall and chlorophyll. They are called plants. If we study structure of plant body is divided into two parts. Simple plant body is divided into two parts. Number 1, vegetative part, and number 2, reproductive part. What do you mean by vegetative part? For example, root, stem and leaf. These are called vegetative part of plant. What do you mean by reproductive part? Its name indicates which take part in reproduction. Such a part are called reproductive part. For example, flower. Flower is an example of reproductive part. If we study different function of different parts of plant, for example, first vegetative part, that is root. Root is grow down the soil. What is the main function of root? Root absorb water and minerals from the soil. सॉइल के अंदर जितने भी वाटर एंड मिनरल्स मौजूद होते हैं, रूट क्या करती है? उन तमाम वाटर एंड मिनरल्स को सॉइल से एब्जॉर्ब कर लेती है. Another vegetative part, that is leaf. What is leaf? Leaf is a green part of the plant, and these leaves are grow on the stem. What is the main function of leaf? On the surface of leaf, some pores are present, that is called stomata, and through this stomata, plant transpire water. Removal of water from the plant body takes place through these pores called stomata. This is the main function of leaf. Another function of leaf is, in the leaf green pigment is present, that is called chlorophyll, and with the help of this chlorophyll and sunlight, Plant manufacture food in leaf. And after that, from the leaf, food transport to all part of the plant body. This is the main function of leaf. If we study another part that is called stem. Stem grow above the soil. It bears a number of leaves, flowers, and fruit. Sometimes on the surface of stem, stomata are present, through which transpiration process takes place. I hope students you understand what are plants. According to scientists, plants is defined as plants are those organisms that have cell wall and chlorophyll. I hope you understand what is cell wall. In the surrounding of plant cell, a wall is present that is called cell wall. Plants have cell wall and they also have green pigment that is chlorophyll. Such organisms are called plants. Now, we discuss classification of plants. Plants can be divided into two broad groups. Number 1, flowering plants, and number 2, non-flowering plants. In plant kingdom, all plants are included. Plant kingdom is divided into two major groups. Number 1, non-flowering plants. Number 2, flowering plants. Non-flowering plant is further divided into 5 categories. Non-flowering plant is divided into 5 kingdom. Number 1, chlorophyta. Number 2, fungi. Number 3, bryophyta. Number 4, pteridophyta. Number 5, gymnosperms. If we study of these kingdoms, the example of chlorophyta is algae. The example of fungi, mushroom. The example of bryophyta is moss. If we study example of pteridophyta, that is ferns. Another kingdom that is gymnosperm. Gymnosperm is also called conifers. Now, we already discussed plant kingdom is divided into two major groups. Non-flowering plant, we discuss non-flowering plant. Now we discuss flowering plants. Flowering plants. In flowering plants, angiosperms are included. This angiosperm is further divided into two groups, monocot and dicot. In monocot, the example of monocot is grasses, and in dicot, the example of mango, sunflower, and other plant. Okay, now we discuss this kingdom in detail. First, we discuss chlorophyta. Non-flowering plant is divided into kingdom 1, that is chlorophyta. In kingdom chlorophyta, algae are included. Algae are mostly, what are algae? Algae are mostly aquatic plant. Their body is not divided into root, stem and leaf. They do not produce flowers. Okay. Look at first picture. In this picture, algae is visible. Next kingdom, that is fungi. Fungi were considered non-green plants. What are fungi? Fungi is another group of non-green plants. Fungi place in separate kingdom, that is kingdom fungi. What are fungi? Fungi are basically saprophytes and parasites. What are saprophytes and parasites? Saprophytes are those organisms which feed on dead organic matter. Such are called saprophytes. What are parasites? Parasites are those organisms whose obtain their food from their host and cause some disease and cause harm on their host. They are called parasites. For example, mosquito cause malaria in human beings. That's why they are called parasites. Fungi, they do not produce flower. If we examples of fungi, study examples of fungi, look at this picture. In this picture, common example of fungi is visible, that is mushroom, molds and mildew. These are the examples of fungi. Now we study next bryophyta. Bryophyta are complex group of plant. They have chlorophyll. Their body have simple stem and leaves. If we study example of bryophyta, mosses. Look at third picture. Mosses are visible. This is the example of bryophyta. Mosses do not produce flower. They reproduce by means of spores. They grow in colder regions or damp and shady places or on the rocks. If we study example, another example of bryophyta, that is Mercantia and liverworts are the example of this group. Pteridophyta. Pteridophyta are more complex plants that have root, stem and leaves. Their leaves divided into leaflets. Look at this picture. Picture of fern. Pteridophyta. These fern plants are included. Their leaves of this plant divided into leaflets. They do not produce flowers and seeds. They reproduce by means of spores. What are spores? Spores are special cells. And they reproduce by means of spores. These plants grow in cool, moist and shady places. Look at third picture. In this picture, fern leaves are visible. What do you mean by leaflets? Leaflets means the lamina of leaf divided into many divisions. This is called leaflets. Next, conifers. Look at last picture. In this picture, conifers are visible. They have root, stem and leaves. They are called conifers. They do not produce flowers. They reproduce by naked seeds, and these naked seeds are present in their cones. If you look, these plants look like a cone. Okay, and these seeds also found in cones. If we study examples of conifers, gymnosperms, that is conifers. Another example, pine, casuarina, are few examples of this group. Now, these are non-flowering plants. Now, I discuss flowering plants. If we study flowering plants, angiosperms are flowering plants. They have vascular bundles. What are vascular bundle? In the center of leaf, root, या stem, a bundle is present that is called vascular bundle. In this vascular bundle, special type of cells are present that is called xylem and phloem. This bundle are called vascular bundle. So angiosperms have vascular bundles. They produce flowers and they have seeds, and their seeds present inside a fruit. If we study types of angiosperms, angiosperm are of two types. Number one, dicot plant. Number two, monocot plant. Dicot plant, the seed of this dicot plant have two cotyledon. What is cotyledon? Cotyledon is a seed leaf. सीड का जो लीफ होता है, सीड लीफ, उसको cotyledon कहते हैं. Okay, so the seed of dicot plant have two cotyledons. That's why di means two, cot means cotyledon. They have two cotyledon. That's why they are called dicot plants. If we study example of dicot plant, gram, mango, pea, almond, sunflower are the example of dicot plant. Monocot plant, the seed of the monocot plant have one cotyledon. Okay, that's why mono means one, cot means cotyledon. The seed of monocot have one cotyledon. That's why they are called monocot plant. If we study of monocot plant, maize, wheat, rice, barley are example of monocot plant. I hope students, our lecture is end till monocot plant. In this lecture, we discuss flowering and non-flowering plants. I give you example of non-flowering plant, that is chlorophyta, fungi, bryophyta, pteridophyta, conifers. These all headings are included in non-flowering plants. After that, we discuss flowering plants. Flowering plants, I give you example of angiosperms. We already discussed in angiosperm have vascular bundle. Their seeds are included in fruits. Then we discuss types of angiosperm, dicot plant, monocot plant. There are two types of angiosperm. Then we discuss their definitions and their examples. Then I give example of dicot plant, that is mango, almond, sunflower, gram are the example of dicot plant. And monocot plant, the example of monocot plant are maize, wheat, rice, barley. I hope students understand this topic. You can give your feedback in your class group. Thank you.